Welcome back to another Film Camera Club video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use pretty much all classic Minolta cameras from, I don't know when they started making these, but this is the SR-T 100, and all Minoltas that look similar to this are probably going to shoot about the same. From what I've seen, they have almost identical makeups with differences in pretty much just the shutter speeds and a few other little minor things that you can use. But this is going to be basically how to use, load, and take awesome photos with your classic Minolta camera. So one of the biggest advantages of buying a Minolta Classic instead of a Canon is the price. I believe I picked this up for around $45 on eBay, free shipping, and it came with one of the nice lenses that Minolta made. I guess Minolta had some of the most cutting-edge lenses of its time, which was pretty cool, and I'm pretty excited about all the photos that I've been taking with this one. I'm going to tell you at the end how you can find a battery to replace the old ones that they no longer make because they're not terribly environmental friendly. The very first thing that you're going to be doing with any camera, film camera, is you're going to be extracting old film and putting a new roll in. So this one took me a second to figure out how to do it. Really, the trick is you just have to pull up here a little bit harder than what you think, and it pops right open. In this case, the old film just fell right out. This was some film that we shot at the beach. It was fantastic. Then, in order to load film, it has a reel over on this side that you have to insert it into. So you're going to take it, and you're going to slide your film in right here. This is some black and white that I have loaded myself, or rolled myself, whatever they call it. And then you roll this over here. And then it can be a little bit tricky in getting this part right, but you need to insert the film into this little slide. And this is significantly more difficult with a camera in between. You just get it in there like that, and then you advance the film. Click the photo if you need to. Advance the film, and there it's loaded. If you go any more to make sure, maybe your first 2 or 3 times, you advance it 1 or 2 extra times. But in this case, I'm going to just close it because I know it's going to be good. And as long as you see that the film is advancing from the retraction device, lever, whatever it is, as long as this is moving, then you know that you've loaded your film correctly. It has on the bottom a battery check on the left-hand side and an off and on for your light meter on the inside. And I have a video that you can check out above if you want to check and see how to check and make sure that your light meter is working properly. So on this specific film camera, you have your ISO ASA that is set here, and what you do is you pull it up, and I'm shooting 200 right now, so I'm going to advance that to 200 and snap that back in. Then you can just simply roll this to whatever shutter speed you want. It has the red 60 as the lowest ISO recommended. I've definitely got some sharp photos in 30, but tripod definitely helps for those. It only has a shutter speed of 500, so sometimes shooting daylight ISO 50 really helps because that's the equivalent of having a 1000 shutter speed. There, it's 1 extra stop. The lens that I have here is roughly 50 millimeter. I think it's a little bit less. I think it's something around maybe 48. I don't know. It seems a little bit less than 50. But it has a range of 1.8 or 1.9 in this case to 16, as you can see right here. It also has the focusing distances here for you, and that's what this little line here is, so that you can see how far away the focusing is from the film if you really want to do some macro photography or something like that. You can see this little piece right here moving along with the lens, the little knob looking thing, and that's to help the light meter know what aperture you're going to be shooting at. In order to see what exactly it's going to be at. Shoot this frame, I guess. And then you can press in over here on this side. You can press in. This is used to see and close your blades so that you can see exactly what exposure it's going to be at when the blades are closed to whatever it is. It's not going to make a difference at 1.8 simply because it's already wide open, and when you press it, it's just going to be completely wide open. You can definitely see the difference of the light getting through, and this will help you get significantly more accurate light readings so that your photos aren't underexposed or overexposed. You can see how many shots you've taken right through here. The trigger's right here, and the light meter on the inside, you have to come down to the bottom and make sure that it's turned on. This one is a battery check, and you can see on the inside it will show you there what it is. When you come in here, you can see your exposure. So on the right hand side you have your light meter, and it's a line that shows you what the exposure should be at, and then the piece that's moving here is showing you what your exposure will be. Now this takes a full frame exposure, so if you're trying to simply expose something that is the subject or whatever, it's going to try and expose for your entire image rather than just your subject, so be aware of that. This circle in the center is kind of like old zebra lines, and it helps you grab focus. It's supposed to be, you can see the texture when it's not in focus, and then when it comes into focus, you won't be able to see the texture anymore. It's really difficult to see through this camera, but that's how it works. Also, I think we're closer to the object than the focusing distance for this camera. But it has a little circle there, and when you can no longer see the stripes, that means you're in focus. So one thing that I have noticed with this camera is that while looking through the viewfinder, if you're not exactly centered with the viewfinder, getting focus is almost impossible. And so being very aware of how you look through the viewfinder can really help you nail focus and not miss as many photos. On the back, it has something to set your ISO to just remind you what it was at. In order to swap lenses, you're gonna depress this little lever here and then spin your lens off. And back on. Since I only have one lens, but that's the button and / lever to switch your lenses with. In order to retract your film after you've shot, you're going to press this in and then use the top lever to retract it. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you the battery that I use, which works for this camera right now. It has some other recommendations, but I wasn't able to find them. The old batteries that I used to use were not terribly environmentally friendly, and the issue with the battery that I'm using now is technically it doesn't have as long of a lifespan, simply because it's a silver alloy battery. Using a little energizer that's 257/303, and this guy works perfectly well, has roughly the same voltage, almost identical, and I believe that this camera uses a difference in voltage rather than a straight voltage so that it will stay good throughout the entire life of the battery until it's completely depleted. It doesn't fit well, but it works. If you want to check and see to make sure that your light meter is working well on your camera, go ahead and check out this video above. And there you have it. That is pretty much everything you could want to know about your Minolta classic camera. It has a very classic feel. It's super fun to shoot, and it's actually quite heavy, which is unfortunate, but very fun to shoot. Has that very classic SLR feel to it. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you out, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.